You're mentioning that you grew up in Nalgonda.
Yes.
What kind of spaces are they?
That to me.
Like Delhi, Bombay, maybe in Hyderabad to an extent. Even if the communities are fractured, they're still there. You still have a past generation who can mentor and support young people.
Interestingly, when I was in Nalgonda, I was actually studying in school. I studied there till 7th standard. That's it. After that, we came to Hyderabad. When I was studying in 7th standard, so for whatever the reason, the school where I was studying, I think most of the schools back then or in that particular space and area, there were no restrictions of boys don't talk to girls, or there's a clear demarcation of that we sit separate rows, we eat separately, or we play separately kind of thing. Like my brother used to be with all the time, men of course, boys of course, and I used to be with girls playing around and playing with their hair, braiding their hair, and making garlands and all that, playing all kind of so-called not boyish games and all that. That was what I was doing. There were no restrictions saying that there was no judgment over there. Once I moved to Hyderabad, an entire different judgment started. I can't talk to anyone. I mean, I can't certainly talk to boys because they have nothing else to tell me other than calling me all kind of names. I can't talk to girls apparently because I'm not supposed to and I'm not allowed to in the school. So I think the small town or a small, semi-urban or town space is a very different space where also I could get to talk to people about faith and things and all that. I used to go into neighbors' houses. It was easy to go to neighbors' houses, play, get into their houses and households, sit with them. I remember there used to be a tailor's family next to our house. I used to go sit with them, learn stitching, tailoring and everything. And in turn they used to apply mehendi on my hands and all that. In Hyderabad, leave about someone else applying mehendi to my hands. If I apply mehendi to my hands and go to a school or anywhere else in neighbor's house, there would be some 10 questions. Why now? What is the reason? Kiski shadi hai and all that. But I don't need a reason in the shadi to apply mehendi on my hands. I never did. So I think there were its own kinds of rules and regulations, whatever, in a small town, small space. There's no sense of, especially if we are talking about a grown-up gay man or LGBT people as such, there's no space for anonymity or going around meeting people and all that, or even thinking about these things. But at the same time, I don't know how it is now. I mean, 13 years down the line, it was 13 years back. But 13 years back, it was different. There was no one pointing out how girlish I was or how boyish my brother was or how I should change my body language or things like that. So that way I felt more accepted or safe or did not feel judged over there rather in Hyderabad. Once in Hyderabad school I think in Hyderabad school also I never did realize what was happening exactly till I passed on my plus 2, got into graduation, then started thinking about things and talking about rights and bullying and all that. In school all the time while I was being bullied or whatever, I didn't know that it was bullying. I thought this is usual. Teachers did not say anything. Everyone knew what was happening. So this was quite usual. But in childhood, where I was studying, what girl or boy, whatever, little you say anything to each other, teachers won't. They're all small town people, very small town people.
But you left Nalgonda when you were 12.
Yeah, 13. Now I don't know how to do it.
No, I'm saying that I'm just wondering if there is obviously there is a Nalgonda small town and Hyderabad big.
It's not exactly Nalgonda, it's Chautauqua.
That kind of suburban small town kind of thing,
yeah.
and then the big city. Then there's the issue of the difference between you being 12. I mean, we don't know what 12-year-olds in Hyderabad might be experiencing.
Yes.
But I think there's also the thing that there's normative behaviors, normative injunctions are a part of becoming competitive or learning to be successful. So you have to conform to certain norms to be successful. And I think Chautupal under 12, all of that was not a space in which you needed to succeed in one thing or the other.
Yeah.
The moment you step from there into the space where you have to succeed,
and
whatever that success might
yeah,
mean,
true.
then the normativity becomes much more sharper
Oh,
and much more punishing.
I think that's equally applicable within the LGBT community also. As much as we need to subscribe to so-called norms and whatever unsaid rules in outside world, we also need to do the same within the LGBT community. When I first walked into LGBT community over here in Hyderabad, it was in 2012, 13, I don't remember exactly. I need to, of course, talk English. Without that, there's no point of engaging with any gay group or any kind of lesbian gay crowd. And then dress in certain way. If you don't dress in certain way and you don't look in certain way, it is difficult for you to anyway be part of the group and make friends. And should be able to know places in the city, restaurants and where to go out, food, movies, things. I have no clue about any of them. All that I've learned about Hyderabad was extremely restaurants or things around movies and places, parks, all these things I've learned. I've learned basically I wanted to fit in. Otherwise, there's no way of fitting in over there also. As much as I don't want to learn these things, I'm left with much of a choice. If I want to even be part of this community, I need to learn so many things. And should engage with them in the way that these things actually make sense to me. Whereas they actually did not make any sense to me. So I think that way LGBT people, and also when I said Hijra people had a problem with me wearing sari and going out and all that, there's also certain norm in that. Who can wear a sari within the LGBT community? There's a norm around it. Who can wear what kind of dresses and who can represent the community also and who can do the pride walks or who can do anything in the community are people who follow certain norms. If you don't, then you cannot be part of it, I think, as much. So that goes with, again, I don't know much about feminist groups, but I think that also goes along with feminist groups a lot, or whatever I hear from.
You have been part of one for so long.
And I did hear quite many stories too, so.
When you survived it and made it.
Well, I've survived places.